join us, so hopefully I can convince Danny to move it along and make it an early night, so we're here. We have a quorum. I will call the meeting of the Conservation Commission for November 21st open. I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes from November 7th.
No, I'll make the motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. We have one new public hearing, 17 Pearl Road. All right, I will read that into the record and then we'll get started. Under the Wetland Protection Act, Chapter 131, Section 40 of Mass General Law is amended, and the West Bridgewater Wetland Protection Bylaw Rules and Regulations, the West Bridgewater Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing the 21st of November 2017 in the McDonald Brown Conference Room, 65 North Main Street, for abbreviated notice of intent filed by David Flynn to install a 16 by 32-foot in-ground swimming pool in the vicinity of a BBW at 17 Pearl Road. We are open. And here's all set.
Do you have your green card? Notify the butters?
I do not.
Okay.
Did you notify it?
I did not.
Okay. So we will have to,
Continue this one.
I did not know I needed to.
sorry about that, I should have made sure that you did it before we scheduled it. So we'll have to continue it to the next meeting.
Okay.
And then in the meantime, you gotta get a certified list of the butters.
Okay.
I will entertain a motion to continue to December 5th.
I'll make that motion.
Well, second.
Moving second, all those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Sorry about that one.
So, certified list of the butters from the assessors, then you notify all of those people on that list. And, if you either come to the office or go on our website, there's a notification form that you use. But rather than take any chance, why don't you come to the office?
Perfect. Easy enough?
Yeah, Monday, because the office is closed after tonight's meeting.
Okay.
All right?
Wonderful. I'll see you Monday.
Sorry about that.
No worries. No worries.
Thanks.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Okay. Our continued public hearing, 61 Ash Street, has asked for a continuance again, and they want to be put on for December 5th. I will entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. And the Luke Estates roadway off Brooks Place and the Luke Estates subdivision have asked for a continuance as well, and those want to go till the 19th of December. So I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
So moved. And
Probably, best thing to do is, Progressive Ave. Certificate of, well, I don't know. Why don't we just follow the,
it doesn't really matter. I mean,
all right, yeah, I guess that's the certificate of compliance.
okay.
Progressive Ave. This is the one for the Ingstroms. I inspected it today, and the grass is growing, so there's no need to have a bond, and we have received all the documents and as-bills, and everything is in place as required. And I also had a chance to speak to the new owner who's in there and asked him if he had any questions about the white pipes in the back, along the back line of the backyard, and he said no, he understood that he can't go beyond them, and he's good with that. And I said that's fantastic, and the system works.
Right.
So
Perfect.
I'm recommending that the commission vote to issue a certificate of compliance
With no bond.
with no bond.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to issue.
I'll make the motion.
Second it.
Seconded. Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
All right, next is the Mass Department of Transportation, MyDOT has, Mass Highways has asked to extend that order of condition that we discussed a number of meetings ago. And it was pointed out, after we told them that it expired, that the order of conditions was for 5 years. So that would expire in December of this year. And so even without any extension permit act, they are in good shape as far as requesting it. So the extension permit only allows up to 3 years, and since this is basically a generic type of conditions that refers to their specific guidelines that they follow to do maintenance, which is paralleling what the DEP's exemptions call for, that they can do work in the layout but not into the wetlands or doing things that would be considered altering the actual wetlands, only buffer work and that kind of thing along the highway. And only maintenance type projects, not expanding the highway or anything like that. So considering all that, I don't see, it's not like they're flagging a wetland that we need to have reflagged every so often. So I'm recommending that the commission grant a 3-year extension, and I'll let them know so that they can put it on their calendar to come back and ask if in the future they want to extend it.
Are they working on this now, or?
It's just miscellaneous projects that they do here, nothing.
Cleaning catch basins,
So
cleaning
they're-
beside the
so they're only
guardrails.
doing what they can do
Anyway,
anyway, and then it's just because it's taking so long that they have to file for the extension.
right,
Okay. It's not because they're not doing it.
right, yeah. And they feel that even if they have the exemption, they don't want communities that they do this work in, and they request this in every community that, let's say, Route 18 goes through, or Route 24. They don't want the communities to feel like they're being left out of the loop. And so, again, referring to their guidelines that they have to do their work by, the actual department requires them to do their work. It's exactly what we would ask them to do anyway. So I figure it's not that, I think it's great to have a file number so that people can see that they're following the procedures, but it really doesn't hurt us by granting this extension.
At least for this town. At least for this town. No,
Right.
who knows what the other towns?
That's true.
All right, any questions?
Yeah.
Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to issue a order of conditions for an extension of 3 years.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Update number 7, I guess.
225 South Street. I've communicated with the ZBA. Their hearing for the appeal to the building inspector's ruling is scheduled for December 12th. And that's in between it's just after our next meeting, the week after our next meeting. And so I plan to be there and have people in the audience and at the ZBA table to request for him to comply with the enforcement order. And that way, there's no misunderstanding. There's witnesses, there's his ability to ask a question at that point in time, and so there should be no doubt that he's confronted with the question, are you going to comply with the enforcement order in public? And so there's no dodging, there's no, I didn't understand, and the ZBA will allow me that opportunity, so. And I explained why I wanted to do it, and they said, sure, come to the meeting on the 12th.
All right, very good.
All right, and next is the Model Airplane Club. It's Interesting, I got a call from their president today asking if it's finalized so they could start sending us their lease money, and I said, no, it's not ready, just keep the money in the bank account, and when we have it finalized, you can send it to us. And they're excited, they wanna really start to be a partner in taking care of that land out there the way we want to. Before that, there was really no guidance, you just go ahead and go do what you want out there, because the previous landowner didn't really have any concern about it. But they do, and so they want to be a partner with us and really take care of that place.
Good.
So I thanked him again
So
for
hopefully-
his enthusiasm, and he again offered to do sign work for us when we need signs out there. And I will keep everybody updated when I hear from town council that everything is okay. Is that it?
And I think that's it on that, except we have a guest in the room that I
Yes.
assume is under our other discussion. What do you got, guys?
Good evening. Thank you again for indulging us. We appreciate it. As you may recall, I was here a couple months ago requesting an extension of the order of conditions so that we can wrap up the work that was allowed by the commission. And then we had the privilege of meeting with the agent and the chairman at the property to show where we are at. And I have with me here both the applicant and the owner, the same person, Bob Afridi. So what I have is put the discussions we had to the on paper.
Yeah, we can.
So, and also,
There was a house in front that they rehabbed and then built.
And grass. Okay, we're going to seed over this with grass seed or whatever. That was in the wetlands.
and I got enough of this one. And what I have here is the reduced version so that you can cross-reference what PMP and Associates had done, and then the subsequent work that was done by Collins, our engineering group. The one that is, the first one is the one that PMP did, and then the second one will be the one that Collins did. And so what we've done is, on our very first sheet, it's what we labeled as existing conditions, and what I've done on the top of the page is number the structures and then put the elevations here so that it's a little bit cleaner to look at. And as you may recall, Mr. Chairman, when we went out there, we identified a lot of invasive species that actually have come way upland. And we talked about possibly coming up with a plan here while we have the order open to allow certain work to be cleaned up and finished. On the rear of the property, what I will call to the west end, behind the building, as you can see there, there's not enough room to maneuver vehicles And so what we wanted to do is go out there and define the BVW, because I think going out there, there's quite an extensive upland species. But I have a Brooke Monroe who was gonna do it for us this weekend, but she said she gets to spend a week around Thanksgiving with her family. So she will be coming out this coming Friday, right after Thanksgiving, to meet up with me to look at that. But on the second sheet, I've identified the areas that we have the invasive species, and have called for different low growth vegetation that's like a high bush blueberry, but low growth blueberry that goes up no more than 2 feet. It's almost like we can get those just like you would get a sword. They make those. And I think I also called for some huckleberry to mix it up. So, and then the area, if you look at the area that will be at the northwest end of the property, it's where where it's very hard to negotiate a turn that way. And so, and that is also actually right outside the 50 feet. So that's where we want to put that block wall. I think Graziano concrete makes those, Graziano concrete makes those 2-foot gravity wall. And
Now, it's hard to get around, right? So why did you make the building so big? Couldn't you have downsized the building a little bit to make it a little more? It just doesn't make any sense. It's funny how it's hard to get around.
I get that. But what happens also, as the chairman and the agent can testify, you can actually see the growth. that
No,
comes
I understand, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so this way here, we trim back at the growth, put something that is a little bit more tolerable, and that is actually conservation and wetlands mix, but at least it doesn't have the high growth.
Just because it's in the way now, right? It's just because all the growth is in the way?
Well,
Yeah, when you look at this, it really has grown almost, it hangs
Yeah.
2-3
Yeah,
feet
no, seriously.
into the parking lot. So when
Yeah.
you make that corner, you really
Yeah.
can't.
So it's not the parking lot, it's just the growth that's making it hard to get around?
Right, and if you
Okay.
really look at that, right,
Yeah,
it's even the adjacent, even in your 25-foot
Yeah.
area adjacent to the wetlands, you have invasive species. Those are not you actually will choke out your wetlands as long as choke out. And you can see it if you come out
it's
there.
almost like
Yeah.
should have planned on that 100-year flood plan on the species.
No,
Yeah.
The growth,
just
100-year growth plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, really, but I mean, sometimes it's a lot easier. You know what I say? Pictures worth 1,000 words. I couldn't explain to you but if you come out there and say, "Whoa," you know, and I think also it's a water over the dam. But I think also even the BVW delineation was way conservative. It really was. Because you can see the dominant species there are actually upland species.
Yeah.
But
And even the area he has where the huckleberry is, I mean, there's cherries and maples that are growing right, and the power line utilities come right,
Yeah.
and it's gonna be a nightmare if they don't do it fairly soon
Oh,
right.
yeah.
to clean it up, to
Yeah.
prevent it, and it's gonna be a lot more work later on. So that's when we were out there, we suggested him coming up with
Yeah.
an invasive plant maintenance, a way to try to control it, and, because basically anything along that buffer, it's almost all, I mean,
Multiflora rose and speckled alder, European alder, just
Yeah,
all
and it's-
invasive.
nothing of real value. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
So, but Bob, I read him the riot act, so he's so paranoid to even spit on the property. You know, but
one question,
yes, sir.
looking at it, I know when we were out there, we were talking about the recharge area and the Cape Cod berm that you were looking at,
Yes.
and
Yeah, and
there was, a recharge area along the electrical pad.
Mhm.
Those will be on the next phased plan, just because I want to make sure we have an updated, compared to what was originally, you're looking to possibly extend this and put a little more gravel or a little more stone to help
Infiltrate.
Yeah,
infiltration
right,
down in.
Yeah, right in, yeah.
And then here, there was originally like a gravel or a stone recharge area.
Mhm.
That was
But
at the
if
end of,
I remember too, this is the area that I indicated.
was
that
not paved.
That
that
was not paved, so.
Right, but the
that
original
reduces it.
had an infiltration
Mhm. Let me see what we got.
along, and I'm just curious if that was gonna show up on the next plan, just so we had an official set. that- Yeah, it's not on that, but on the one we had,
Collins, I think it was on Collins' plan,
yeah, the last plan on record that we had.
or was it on,
Okay, the Collins Hasbill doesn't show it either. The one that I just gave, that I handed you?
Excuse me, Tim, you talking about against the fence?
Yeah, along the
See
fence, the
building?
day we were there, the plan that we had showed on it that there was some type of a filtration system to help.
was it on your previous as-built?
It's like a stone bed to catch the water.
Yeah, I remember exactly, it just had it listed and shown, I didn't look at the actual detail.
No, we can make sure it gets on.
Right.
Any
on the
plan
next-
that he's
I
got.
just figured if we were looking at
Yeah.
the next phase, knowing where we're looking to go with it.
What's happening in that area, if I may, none of the drainage from the adjacent parking lot comes onto my property. And right in that area, right along the fence, we have underground power lines that goes from the transformer to the building. So it might be tough to put some kind of an infiltration in that spot.
Okay, so it wasn't put in as the last set of plans that we.
No, one of the
okay.
reasons why is because we ended up putting underground utilities in that location. And that's why we have the gravel parking area, and then we have that stone bed that cuts across, by the fence
Yep.
before it goes to the wetlands.
And that actually is working very, they've got almost 2 feet of stone underneath that.
Make that
So-
bigger one, or wider, that one. I go
Yeah.
down that way.
I mean, it pretty much
Stay
sheds that way. I mean, I was just curious because it was on the plan and where it went and why it didn't show up. The other thing we're gonna wanna make sure we have a snow location, snow storage, which we've started to require on a lot of these, that since we're re-looking at the whole new plan, since it wasn't as,
That area could be anything else got up.
well, what they didn't do, this was originally supposed to all be paved, and they didn't. They left a lot of that gravel
Fence.
and open. So they reduced the pavement, which really helped
Yeah.
reduce the,
Maybe that area could be pretty
yeah.
strong.
So actually, right now, the snow gets pushed up against that fence and our back. So I think, if we can proceed with this here, because that's really not requiring much of any excavation to be done. It's mostly, the stone wall, it's a gravity wall, so you don't have to dig anything to put it in, you know what I'm saying? It's not like building a reinforced concrete wall with a footing. This one doesn't need any footing. It's those, that's what I have in my yard, you know? And that's what I use for punching bag, when I get that.
What about the digging though for it? How deep do you have to dig for it?
Oh, no, just, you will need to take out what I've been recommending that people do, just so you have a level in the area, is just go down 6 inches, put that fabric underneath it, and then put the stone down, and then lay down the blocks. Those blocks are 2 by 2. Each one was like 150 pounds. They have to use the crane
Yep.
to drop them in. Yeah. And it makes it a lot easier now, to have an edge where you trim back.
Yep.
And then, like I said, this Friday here, Brooke will come and flag that we're westerly in, and we're trying to do the gravel piece. And so,
Can
if
you
there-
get down low now? Would that be on?
So you're basically looking to do two phases, the front part, which is the, from here, and
Well,
then,
I'll show
because
that.
you were looking to have Brooke do the back to
Right,
reflag it,
yeah.
and then,
Yes, yes.
anybody questions? John? What do you?
So, the purpose of this discussion is just to get some idea as to whether the commission would be agreeable to this vegetation management, invasive species management area.
Within the concept, within the order that's currently valid, that the commission extended. The question that be considered a minor modification of, for the invasive species. Then we can at least start doing some of that work. And then we will notify the commission as soon as we, matter of fact, this time of the year probably is a lot easier, because then, because you don't have a lot of leaves to drag around when you trim it.
The area that's got vegetation now, you're looking to lumen seed further back into that? Looking on here,
Second,
this right now is vegetated out to here.
Well,
And you're looking to
right,
lumen
trim-
seed.
Right, exactly, trim that off, that's it. And then I put the sheep right there, the sheep laurel, and then the blueberry right here, which is basically the woodland species.
Why don't you just plant it right out to here? And just leave the vegetation area that's vegetated now, just with the sheep laurel and the same.
Just do a home, plant the bushes?
I mean, I'm just, the whole give and take when we
Yeah.
gave the replication area, really, there was no replication area. I mean, we're losing planting and we're losing the lumen seed, which is gonna be mowed and cleared, and, you see what I'm talking about,
It's
John?
gonna overgrow anyway,
I mean, it's overgrown now, but it needs to be maintained.
but if it's not maintained, it's gonna overgrow anyways.
Right, but that's what I'm saying, if you plant it out as sheep, laurel, and blueberry
You don't have to
plants
worry
here,
about maintaining it.
and just leave the lawn area that's lawn area now, I mean,
so if I'm understanding you correctly, Tim, where it says loam and seed, edge of plant bed, that
Right.
kind of, that area?
from there to the other side of the lumen seed,
You want that to be planted
yeah,
as
just
well?
leave that plant, I mean, it's planted now, I mean, it's invasive plants, and it's multiflora rose, and, I mean, I'm just looking to say, why are we gonna expand the lawn area? I
No,
mean,
Tim, the little area that would be right there, that area will be outside the 50. The only, where the growth starts is right here, so if we give you all the blueberries right here, just so that we don't have the height, but right now, this.
right, but right now, this isn't seeded, and I'm saying,
Right,
when
That's
you look at the
correct.
plan,
that's correct.
I mean, you're asking us to allow you to do work over here to fill in and build up within the 50 to create this area
Yes.
and do work and I'm like, why are we gonna make more lawn area in the buffer zone if we can avoid it?
Okay,
I
so.
mean, we're allowing a lot of,
Yeah, so take this, I hear you, so instead of the loma seed here, make that all the
yeah,
flower.
just make that
Part of the farm.
part of the,
Yeah, that's.
I mean, I'm
Bushes
Yeah.
and all that.
looking to lower the phosphorus, nitrogen,
Mhm.
fertilizer all going on the
Yeah.
lawn if we
Yeah.
can, just saying, if it's already there,
Yep,
it's not like you're, I mean, other than I know people, tenants are walking their dog in the area and using it for that area, but I mean, it's not, not like you're playing on it, using it for,
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman?
Yep.
May I speak? I'm not sure what you're looking at, but that lumen seed that I'm looking at on this plan, that's pretty much the area that you and I walked, and it's all a briar patch, pretty much. Right along the edge where we had some of that clippings from the lawnmower, you said you wanted me to.
right,
So,
I mean,
are you saying you don't want us to touch that area?
well, I mean, I don't
No.
mind you cleaning it up, getting rid of the invasives, but I'm just saying, if you're gonna be planting the low bush blueberry and the sheep laurel,
we should do that
just
right there.
do it right into that area as well. Instead of increasing the lawn further over, the lawn area that's there, to me, would be the lawn area that's there. Anything you were cleaning up would be planted with
Yeah, he's saying over here, instead of.
replication material or buffer plantings or, an enhancement.
So the invasives were there because it was previously disturbed, so they took over the invasives here and where they, you know, is that because it was already used a little bit? Yeah,
All grown over.
right,
Yeah,
okay.
'cause,
And it was all farm field probably at one point.
I think so, yeah,
Yeah.
and then.
And it would just let go over time, and by nobody maintaining it, the invasives came in and took over, and,
Yeah,
I mean, they do need an invasive plan to clean it up. It's pretty,
There's nothing of value in those areas.
I'm saying, Mr. Chairman, if you look over here, that would be totally outside that, they were 50 foot. So you can do that and then give you all the wetlands right here, the flower in, you know? Because they're definitely not
Right.
talking, we're not gonna bring, it would be crazy to suggest that we're gonna bring the lawn here now. But if we can, not at 50, outside that 50 foot, make that our lumen seed, and then here give the, this is definitely wetlands mix that we're putting in, it's just not gonna be high growth, and then we'll have a maintenance, an ongoing maintenance plan.
that this won't be mowed in this area
No,
here.
no.
It'll just be left to be grass or sedges or
Yeah, you can
whatever.
actually require, so that you can see it, require that, and behind this here where we're looming, put a permanent, those are conservation markers.
Yep.
Along here, we can do that, so, and then locate that and give you ties for it, so that you know physically that we're not going back there. But if we make that, right there,
Yep,
that would be
that's
outside
fine.
50 feet, you know? Then that'll really clean it all up.
That, and I would just make sure you put in what you want to expand here across where that break is, in
Yes.
Cape Cod berm, so we
Yes.
can, I mean, it's working, it just
Yeah.
needs to be cleaned up so
Cleaned
it
up.
actually,
Right. What we will do is we'll redo you know what happened is actually she growth coming through it, because when they put it in, they didn't put the fabric down. Okay, the
Yep.
fabric stops
basically
the
the
roots
grass
from
is all
taking.
grown up through this. I mean, they did a nice job putting in
Yeah.
a gravel, stone sluice way to kind of slow down the runoff from the driveway, but.
Yeah.
So we'll rebuild that and put a fabric underneath it.
So the question I have is, when are you gonna do the plantings?
Well, any planting you do right now, it's not gonna succeed.
Okay.
Well, we'll do the clearing, but we're not gonna do any grading work until spring, and then finish that up.
All
But
right.
at least do the cutting right now, don't do any equipment work. Do all the cutting, and then we might have to recut it again in spring before we put the florals in the. But we can at least cut here and then put the, because we don't need any excavation work to put those concrete down.
All right, so I'm thinking that we still have to see what's going on with the wetland in the northwest corner. And
Yeah, we're not gonna do that, John, at all, until Brooke looks at it.
so why can't we give him authorization to cut out the invasive species and no construction work beyond that? And then catch up with a formal document, which would be an amended order that outlines everything that we've been talking about, but in a formal way rather than, just discussion. And since they're gonna do the work in the spring, and we're not really holding them up, but I think we gotta actually have something in the record that we can fall back on, and they can fall back on, so that there's no misunderstanding if,
And again, if Brooke, one of the things when he was out there, he was looking to do is in the back, depending where the actual wetland line is here, is to increase this parking area, to give him a little bit more room, because it is pretty tight when you go into the garage. If, he's got tenants that want to have more vehicles parked along the back. So if you park the vehicles and then try to get into the,
That's why I don't
Which-
understand why you make the building so big.
Well, that's why you have the
If-
tenant, if you didn't have the building, you're not gonna have the tenants.
I understand that, but
he ended up with more tenants than he
But-
expected.
no, I understand. I'm not trying to
Yeah.
do this to be, but it's funny, guys. If it's gonna be a problem, make it work right when you're going to build it, so now you have to look. So what happens if it doesn't work out for you, that you can't extend the parking lot?
Loses tenants, can't pay his taxes,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
See, so that building should have been smaller in the beginning, and you would have had the tenants, and you'd have been all set.
You know, I should have been a millionaire, so I wouldn't have to be working. I could have, you know what I'm saying? But here we are, so, and I get it, but you know what happens is, the first building out front was built first, and then we did this here, you know, and then before you finish the building, this was what was actually proposed. So what happens is you gotta get tenants, and some tenants need more space. You don't have as many tenants, but the tenants you have need more space. They pay you good rent, so you can pay that of good taxes that the town of West Bridgewater likes to get. And
It's almost kind of like moving into a house that's too big and you can't pay for it, or too small and you can't. And
well, like
you gotta
I mean,
figure out how it works.
my neighbor built his house. He has, guess what? Oh, geez, now he's having kids. He's starting family and putting in a swimming pool. You know what I'm saying?
No, I
So,
understand that. Yeah,
you know,
I'm not doing it to be, but I'm just trying to kind of think of.
But if they have to do something back here,
Yeah.
it might as well make sense instead of doing a whole bunch, having two sets.
No, do it now.
Right, I mean,
I-
let's
yeah,
wait and do
now's
the
the time,
construction
yeah.
part here and here. The invasive management part, letting him trim it and cut it and get
Mhm.
that, nothing's gonna grow for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And if he's
No.
gonna tackle it in April, beginning of the season next year,
Or
before
March.
anything really gets growing, which I assume he would want to.
And put in the markers.
so you can
Yeah.
really
Put them in now.
Yeah, excuse me, the goal would be to start in the back, whatever you approve, hopefully next meeting, and then just work our way back out, finish everything, and then get an as-built plan and have you guys approve it once and for all.
So you want to postpone any cutting until you finalize where the wetlands are in the back?
construction part.
The construction part.
construction part.
No, but I think I just heard
Sean,
him.
I'm not sure if it's the right time to cut, because it's all gonna grow back. So if we wait until April or May, when
Okay.
it's growing, we'll be able to just do everything all at once.
All right.
Oh, so you want to
Okay.
wait till spring?
I think so, because then I gotta bring the machine in there an extra time, and if he just comes once, we can
Yep.
clean it, put the wall in, do the gravel, and just kinda work our way out.
All right, I like that. So
Yeah.
in the meantime, what I would like to do is, have another informal discussion at the next meeting, when they do have the wetlands defined in the back.
Think
Yeah.
Brooke will have it done and you'll be able
Well,
to
she
do it?
told me this weekend here, Friday. She'll come out on Friday because it's quiet.
Okay,
She's in Maine right now.
yep,
Yeah.
and you'll be able to do that for the December 5th?
December 5th, you think?
Well, if she flags it, then I will be able to look at it. and
Okay,
then
I mean,
show her. Yeah, so it'd be a question of not flagging it, you know?
That's only like a week though, isn't it?
2 weeks. Because of next Tuesday is
It's the
the
28th.
30th is Thursday,
Mm.
so that puts you into the following week. Yeah. So if she does it, we'll look at the flags and then get the plan to John. And then come and show it to you, and then we can formalize it after that.
Then I could recommend a process, how we can formalize it rather than being informal.
Okay.
But, I think
Yeah, I think conceptually what we're heading to the right point where we
Okay.
can all come up with, and like John said, once we know what we're dealing with in the back.
Okay. Very good.
So we'll put it on the agenda for the next meeting.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it very much.
Appreciate it.
Keeping these drawings?
Yes. yeah, I'll keep those.
All right, I think,
We just need
except a bunch of
signatures.
signatures stuff,
Yep.
do we have any bills that need to be signed off on, or?
Yeah. Here's the park day expenses for the supplies we had there. And the posters that we did. Then I have the Mass Dot extension, the certificate of compliance for 59 Progressive. And I did have a signature for the order of conditions for Mr. Flynn, whose hearing was not held tonight because of no abutter notification. So we'll hold on to that one.
Anybody have anything else?
Other than,
When Ryan, we told Kitty, well, at least I told Kitty that when Ryan and I went out to put the signs up for Esther Drive, there was a girl walking a dog using the trail there. Nice to see that.
Oh, wow.
She's walking along.
Yeah.
So, that was,
At least somebody's using it.
and
oh, yeah.
I'm sure she said a lot of thank yous to you too, but, on behalf of.
No, I wasn't saying anything because I didn't want the dog to attack me.
No, but I'm thinking that Kitty was very appreciative
Oh, Kitty, oh, yeah.
of what you guys did,
That's
so
right.
it's
Yeah.
great. You guys did
Yeah, it was
great.
no big deal, sorry.
It
So
was.
thank
Took us a
you.
little while
Took
to do it, but
time.
I didn't, it was overgrown and everything, but we figured we'd get in there before it. So, it was good.
So when she's happy and she talks about it and
Oh, she was
goes
kinda
on and on about it, then you know
twisting
she's
my
really,
knee about
really.
it.
And then happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yeah.
You too.
Everyone.
Same to you.
Yep, thank you.
All right,
Other than that,
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Oh,
Second.
yeah,
And
and I'll whoopee it.
Moved, seconded, and whoopee. We're adjourned.
Kitty's okay? Kitty's well? And I know she's
she's
getting cozy.